Last time at Carl's Custom Cars, the team removed the dashboard from the 1940 Lincoln Zephyr and lifted the body from the chassis. Today, the team will highlight the research that's gone into fixing some of the pieces that have been hard to get corrected. They'll also show us some of the finer details coming together on the Zephyr and show us how they ensure accuracy on such a historic car. Welcome to Double Clutch.
One of the hardest parts that we found on this car to repair was this rear valance or bumper filler panel. This car had been wrecked in its lifetime pretty bad in the rear. And when the car came here, this piece was not on it. It was in a group of pieces, and we got it out, straightened it out, trying to reuse it. We had to do a lot of research on the internet. Brad and I, probably around 10 hours, trying to figure out where this piece went. We found very few photos of the back of this car. This car has two different types of rear license plate brackets. The one that we have with this car is the early 40 style, and it was on bottom of this piece, and it would not hinge down to allow the spare tire to come off. It's just a lot of painstaking effort to find out how this piece actually was supposed to be designed, and we think we figured it out. We're going to have to cut it and bend it down so that it's clear, finish it out like the body, and keep on going. These are interesting pieces here. That looks like a rivet head. It's actually not. I put a bolt. It's actually 4 bolts in the lathe and machined the head down, made it look like a rivet head. The back of this car was hit pretty hard, and we had to remove an inner structure that was riveted to the inside of the back of the car to be able to repair this car and then straighten it and put it all back together. So though they look like rivets on the outside, if you look on the inside, they're actually a bolt. Kind of cool. We're making great progress on the Lincoln. We've got all of our chrome plating back from the plating shop. It all looks really nice. They did a fantastic job on it. We've been reconditioning a lot of these pieces, like this horn button. Really nice. A lot of these pieces are difficult to refurbish or bring back to new again, like this radio delete plate. It's actually made of a pot metal material. Had lots of pits and pores in it that had to be closed back up, and it's also, if you can see these lines and the Lincoln Zephyr, that is brass plated. So what we did, sent it out to brass plating and had it brass plated, and we keep applying coats of primer to it, and with very fine sandpaper in a small block, sand it, reprime it, resand it, reprime it, and resand it again and again until we get rid of all of the imperfections in it. Now it'll go back and get painted dash color, then it'll come back up here and we'll strip the brass back off where you can see it again, and then it will go back to paint again for our chrome plating process. It's a long, drawn-out ordeal to make it look new again, but that's what we're doing. When we're done with it, it will really look nice. We have brass-plated pieces, brass plated. Some of these items you can't get. These little plastic pieces are reproduced. We've got a set of those. These pieces we had to make, you can't get these. They all go to the door handles, window cranks. All of the things like knobs, we've reproduced all that stuff, got it looking new again. Making great strides. Chrome, when chrome comes back, you always apply a coat of wax to it, and that's what Michaela's doing back here. These tables are covered with lots of pieces that we've already restored. They're ready to go back on the car, refurbished. This is the correct carburetor for the V12. It was built specifically, a specific size for this engine, because this engine has 12 cylinders. It needs more fuel. This carburetor is a little bit bigger than typical carburetors that would go like on a V8 flathead. Brad has restored it with the Authenticity manual. All of these pieces that are cadmium plated or black or brass, he has reconditioned them the way they're supposed to be, and it's ready to go back on the car. Moving along with the plating process, we got the grills back from plating, and these are very delicate, very expensive grills. They were only made 1 year, 1940, this design. This one had a little damage to it, had to be welded up. This is pot metal, very hard to fix. And during the plating process, this one got broken. You can see this moves, it's cracked here, so this piece is going to have to go back and be repaired again. So this will slow us down just a little bit, but we'll get it done, get it back in the car and keep moving along. Very nice items. This is what's known as an Authenticity manual. It's what we're building this car off of. It's a lot of literature compiled from people that knew a lot about these cars, and people that have studied about them and found out information on this car. And it goes into great detail. It tells you things like each bolt, nut, and washer, how they're supposed to be reconditioned, what the finish looks like on them. Some of them are actually bare metal, unpainted, unfinished, and that's the way we put this car back together. with this book. It takes a lot more time, but the car will be authentically correct. This is an interesting item. It's a spark plug. The authenticity manual calls for a Champion H10 2-ring black base. So what we've done is reconditioned these. These are an old set of spark plugs, but they're in great shape, probably from the 50s or 60s, and we've cleaned them up, added the black base to them with a high heat black paint, putting them back in the car, keeping this car looking period correct.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week for our next restoration segment, and check out a new classic car episode every Monday here on Double Clutch.